Hi, Sinocap here. Today, I'm going to explain a 2022 American comedy horror film called The Menu. The movie begins with a foodie, Tyler, asking his date, Margot, not to smoke, because it ruins the ability to appreciate the flavors. She reluctantly puts it out. The boat arrives to take them to Hawthorne, an exclusive restaurant on a private island, owned by chef Julian Slowik. Along with them, other guests include Lillian Bloom, a food critic, her editor Ted, wealthy regulars Richard and Ann Librand, washed-up movie star George Diaz and his personal assistant Felicity Lynn, business partners Soren, Dave, and Bryce, and Slowik's alcoholic mother Linda. They are welcomed with a raw local oyster dish. Tyler loves the dish. All the guests are taken on a tour of the island by Elsa, who notes that Margot was not the intended guest for the evening. Elsa shows them the smokehouse, which is in Nordic tradition. They use meat of dairy cows only, aged for 152 days to relax protein strands. One of the guests asks what happens if they serve it on 153 days. Elsa explains that bacteria would enter the bloodstream, after which he or she will become incapacitated and die. She then takes them to a room, where everyone except the chef live. Tyler points to a building, and asks Elsa, who lives there. Elsa replies, the chef. Tyler wants to see the building, but Elsa says no one is allowed in chef's cottage. They are taken to the restaurant. Elsa says that they are free to observe the cooks as they innovate, but are not allowed to photograph the dishes. Tyler asks one of the chefs if he is using Pacojet. Chef says yes, Mr. Tyler. Tyler is surprised that the chef knows his name, to which chef says that they like to know everyone who dines with them. Chef asks them to take a seat as they are about to serve. Chef Slowik arrives, and the prepared dish is served to everyone. Margot asks Tyler about their obsession with food. Tyler explains that people idolize athletes, musicians, actors. But what they do doesn't matter. Chefs play with the raw materials of life and death itself. He says this is the real art. Slowik and his team of chefs prepare the first course. He addresses the guests, and explains that over the next few hours they'll ingest fat, sugar, protein, bacteria, fungi, various plants and animals, and sometimes, entire ecosystems. He asks his guests to not eat the food, rather taste it. The food is served to guests. The first course is called the island. Plants from around the island, placed on rocks from shore, covered in barely frozen, filtered seawater. Guests enjoy their course. Tyler and Margot are served wine. It's time for the second course. They are served breadless bread plate for the course. Guests are amused at the course. Chef asks his guests to enjoy the unaccompanied accompaniments. Food critic, Bloom, complains to Ted about the broken emulsion. She says that this shouldn't be expected from a restaurant of this quality. Overhearing them, Elsa gives her a bowl of broken emulsion, courtesy of Chef Slowik. Business partners complain to Elsa that they appreciate the concept, but they still need the bread. Elsa denies their request, whispering in Soren's ear that they will eat less than they desire and more than they deserve. Margot says she's not gonna try this. Tyler tries to take her plate for himself, but accidentally breaks the glass. Slowik arrives to their table, and notices Margot hasn't touched her food. She says there's no food, to which he replies that this is food. Slowik insists Margot eat. The menu only makes sense if they eat. She replies that he specifically asked not to eat. Slowik says that that's not what he meant and she knows it. She insists that she is capable of deciding what to eat and what not to. Slowik goes over to his alcoholic mother, and pays respect. It's time for the third course. Slowik addresses the guests, telling them that next course is called Memory. He starts telling a story from his childhood memory. One Tuesday, his father came home drunk. His mother got angry with him, so the father wrapped a telephone cord around her neck and pulled it tight. Slowik stabbed him in his thigh with scissors, to stop him. And so, he serves them a chicken thigh, with scissors stabbed in it, and their own tortillas, which Bloom once said, put him on the map. The images on the tortillas have been made using laser engraving machine. The images are related to each guest's pasts. Image on Bloom's are the restaurants she reviewed, that all closed. Happy anniversary on Richard and Ann's. Tyler's has him taking pictures of the food from tonight. A bad movie poster for George. Tax brackets and fake invoice receipts for the business partners. One of the tortillas for Ann and Richard, reveal Richard having lunch with another woman. Margot tries to send the tortillas back, but Tyler gets angry at her. She goes to the ladies' room. She starts smoking. Slowik arrives and asks her what she did not enjoy about the last course. She says she is not hungry. He tells her that she shouldn't be here tonight. Time for the fourth course. Slowik introduces another sous chef, Jeremy Loden. The next dish was created by him, called the mess. Slowik says Jeremy is a very good chef, But he is not great, and he will never be great. Sometimes, even when the food is perfect, and customers and critics are happy, there is no way to avoid the mess. The mess you make of your life, body and sanity, by giving everything you have for pleasing the people you will never know. Jeremy puts a gun into his mouth, and kills himself. Slowick calms everyone down, and tells them that this is part of the show. They carry his body away. They are served their dish. Pressure-cooked vegetables, roasted filet, potato, beef, bone marrow. Slowick orders his team to start preparing fifth course. Richard and Anne get up to leave. Elsa won't let them leave. Anne pleads Richard to do what they are saying. He says he'll handle it. They hold him and cut off his ring finger. Tyler, unmoved, keeps eating his meal. Slowick instructs everyone to sit. Lillian believes that this whole thing is a show for her, and everyone else is an actor. Elsa takes Margot to kitchen. Slowick tells her that you're all wrong, and asks her who she is. He says he's served many Margots, but she is not one. He says that this entire evening, this menu and guest list was all planned, and she was not a part of it. She says if she tells him, would he let her live? He reveals that they're all gonna die tonight. It's part of the menu. He gives her 15 minutes to decide whether she wants to be part of the guests, or part of the chefs. Soren tries to break the window with his chair. Elsa takes him back to his table. They are served tea next. Soren asks Slowick about what's happening. Slowick says that they should think of themselves as ingredients in a tasting concept. Slowick reveals that Lillian has destroyed countless restaurants to feed her ego. Richards has been to his restaurant 11 times, but can't remember a single dish, even though they tell exactly what they are feeding. He had to sell his restaurant to Doug Varick, the three partners work for, during COVID pandemic. He then reveals he has Doug Varick tied up outside. Varick requested substitutions for his dishes, and requested some of the menu to be changed. Angry at him, Slowick has him drowned, in a symbolic, fallen angel imagery. It's time for Margot to make the choice, but she refuses. Slowick says that she belongs with his team. Slowick reveals that he knows Margot is a prostitute, and that she knows Richard. Margot reveals that Richard was one of her clients, who rattled her because he made her foreplay with him as his daughter. Slowick tells her that he used to enjoy cooking, but he hasn't desired to cook in ages. For the next course, Slowick takes everyone outside. It will be presented by Catherine. She says that Slowick tried to have sex with her but she refused. He tried that multiple times, but she always refused. And for that, he didn't fire her. But he stopped talking to her for 8 months. And he can do that because he is the star. He is the man. The next course is called Man's Folly. She stabs Slowick, and Slowick apologizes to her. Slowick says that males can start leaving now. But after 45 seconds, his staff will try and catch them. Everyone except Tyler runs away. Slowick asks Tyler to leave too, and he does. Females go inside, while the staff starts chasing the males. Inside, 6th course is served to the ladies. Anne reveals that she knows Margot knows her husband. They ask Catherine if they are all dying tonight. She says, yes, and that the menu doesn't work if they don't. Because it needs an ending that ties everything together conceptually. She says everyone dying was her idea. Outside, the staff captures every male. Margot says that her name is Erin, and not Margot. Slowick says that the menu cannot continue until they resolve an unresolved matter. It is revealed that Tyler was aware that everyone would die. Slowick says that Tyler had a date, not the woman he brought here tonight. Tyler hired her knowing that she would die. Slowick says that Tyler, being a foodie, is not like the others. He takes him to the kitchen. They give him a chef's jacket. Slowick asks him to cook. Tyler hesitates. Upon further insistence, he starts cooking clumsily. Slowick tastes the prepared dish. He says it's bad. Slowick whispers something in Tyler's ear. Slowick turns to Margot and tells her that now she is free. Slowick orders Margot to fetch a barrel to prepare dessert. Tyler has hanged himself. Slowick tells George that he is being punished because he saw his film, Calling Dr. Sunshine. It was his one day off in a month, and seeing an actor lose his purpose haunts him. Margot goes to Smokehouse to fetch the barrel. She takes a knife and visits Chef's cottage. Elsa attacks her, thinking that Margot is going to replace her. Elsa says that Chef didn't tell her about the barrel, she didn't forget. Margot kills Elsa. In Slowick's room, Margot sees Lillian's review, and Slowick's personal photographs. One particular photograph shows Slowick, extremely happy, while cooking a cheeseburger. Meanwhile, Slowick brings a cake for Bryce. Margot arrives with the barrel. Slowick asks her to take a seat. A boat arrives. Slowick figures that Margot contacted someone through radio. He asks everyone to clear the dining room. Coast Guard arrives and inquires, but out of fear no one says anything. He recognizes George. He signs an autograph for the cop. The cop checks the paper, and it says help us. The cop takes his gun out. Everyone starts asking for help. The cop lights a candle with his gun, which turns out to be lighter. Slowick thanks the cop. Margot gets up and says that she doesn't like the food, and she would like to send it back. Slowick asks what's wrong with the food. She says he's taken the joy out of eating. The food tastes like it was made with no love. She says as a chef, Slowick's purpose is to serve food that people like, but he has failed. She says she wants a cheeseburger. He says he can cook a cheeseburger. She says she wants a real cheeseburger and not some fancy crap. He cooks her a traditional cheeseburger. She tastes it, and really likes it. She says she can't eat it all, and would like the rest to go. He packs the burger and gives a gift bag to her, and thanks her for dining at Hawthorne. She takes it and leaves. Rest of the guests are asked to pay the bill for their meals before the dessert. Slowick tells everyone that they represent the ruin of his art, and his life. And now they get to be a part of it. He turns the entire restaurant, and guests along with it, into a giant dessert dish, the s'more. Slowick starts the fire inside. The movie ends with the restaurant on fire, and the ingredients of the final dish on screen. Like, and subscribe, for more videos like this.